The Korean government has rolled out measures to improve the country's food safety standards following a massive public scare this past summer over eggs tainted with pesticides. Starting next year, poultry farms must give their chickens more living space, and livestock farms will get 30% subsidies when they need to take out loans. They'll also get treatment from pest control specialists. Farms that produce eggs will have to use a revised egg coding system indicating when the eggs were laid, the farm's code, and how the chickens are raised there. The government said it will strictly enforce the law on farms and distributors. Those who fail to follow the new system will be subject to a 15-day suspension of business, and all of their eggs will be destroyed.
Would she know that this could cause this without information? Would we ever know how this got here without traceability? And if this, from here, had a problem here, who would know without communication? You've probably realized we're talking about food safety. But what you may not know is that the Korea Food Safety Information Center already has a system in place that monitors, collects, and analyzes food safety alerts and incidents in 7 languages.
위생전실은 위생복장 착용 후 개인 위생관리를 위한 곳입니다. 위생전실에서는 작업장에 비치된 이물 제거 도구 등을 이용하여 작업자의 몸에 붙은 이물을 제거해주세요. 이물 제거 도구는 이물 흡입기, 에어 샤워기, 끈끈이 롤 등 작업장의 특성이나 환경에 맞게 기준을 수립하여 운영하시면 됩니다. 끈끈이 롤을 사용할 때는 안내에 따라 회수별 사용 방법을 꼭 지켜주세요. 작업장 입실 전 액체 비누 등을 사용하여 흐르는 물로 30초 이상 손을 씻고 일회용 종이 타올이나 에어 건조기로 건조 후 손소독제로 손을 소독해주세요.
Foodborne illness, or food poisoning, is an infection caused by contaminated foods. It can cause several symptoms such as stomach cramps, fever, nausea, vomiting, and even death. The occurrence of more cases of a foodborne illness than would normally be expected in a specific area or group of people over a given period of time is called an outbreak. Foodborne illness outbreaks lead to many civil lawsuits, economic losses, and establishment closings. In food retail and restaurants, all food handlers must be responsible to ensure food safety standards to protect customers from foodborne illnesses. A key role in preventing foodborne illness is the restaurant's person in charge, or PIC. This designated person must be knowledgeable and responsible for food safety practices anytime the facility is in operation. Food safety practices are very important because they reduce the risk factors for foodborne illnesses and outbreaks. The PIC needs to ensure that employees are properly trained in their specific food handling duties. Germs that cause foodborne illness are on your hands. This is why poor hand washing and poor personal hygiene is the leading cause of foodborne illness. Washing your hands thoroughly is critical for preventing you from spreading germs to your customers, so let's wash them. First, you want to wet your hands with warm water. Apply plenty of soap and begin to lather by rubbing your palms together out of the stream of water. Don't forget between your fingers, the backs of your hands, your thumbs, wrists, fingertips, and under your nails. You should spend at least 10 to 15 seconds making a good lather. Once you are covered in soap, rinse well with warm water. Then dry with a paper towel. Lastly, turn off the water using the paper towel. You should wash your hands after you touch your face, nose, or scratch an itch, crack eggs, handle any raw meat or touch any surfaces or equipment that was used with raw meat, including cracking eggs, sneezing or coughing, handling trash or dirty dishes, before and after putting on new gloves, touching animals, using chemicals, smoking or taking a break. If you're unsure you need to wash your hands anyway. You can never be too safe. Food handlers must wash their hands both in the bathroom and again upon entering the kitchen in the designated hand-washing sink. Never use designated hand-washing sinks to wash foods or utensils because you can cross-contaminate them. Remember that hand washing is the most important food safety tool you can use to prevent spreading germs, so use it well. Besides having good personal hygiene, employees must follow good manufacturing practices when handling foods. One of the most important things you can do to prevent the spread of foodborne illness is to not touch ready-to-eat foods with your bare hands. Always use a utensil or gloved hands to handle these items. When preparing pizza, ingredients may be touched with bare hands before the pizza goes to the oven. However, after removing the pizza from the oven, utensils or gloved hands must be used. Don't forget, always wash your hands when changing tasks before you put on gloves. Wearing hair or beard nets, an apron, and gloves are important to reduce the risk of cross-contamination because it avoids the spreading of germs from workers into foods. These items may be worn while preparing food, but must be removed before entering the restroom. Gloves must always be changed after touching raw animal foods, garbage, walls, floor, cleaning supplies, or objects that are not clean. Food handlers must not wear artificial fingernails, bracelets, or rings with stones. Plain band wedding rings are able to be worn. Other unsecured jewelry must be removed because they might fall into foods. Employees must always wash hands after scratching their skin to avoid possible contamination of food or utensils. Cuts and abrasions on skin must always be properly cleaned and covered with a clean gauze, Band-Aid, or other type of bandage. And remember, never try to catch a knife when it is falling. Being sick while handling food is one of the worst food safety practices. When you aren't feeling well while handling food, or being in a place where food is, you can greatly increase the chance of spreading your germs to your customers. Viruses, bacteria, and fungi can be passed through food and may potentially make dozens of people sick. E. coli, typhoid fever, salmonella, shigella, norovirus, and hepatitis A are examples of diseases that can be transmitted by contaminated food. If you have vomiting, diarrhea, jaundice, fever with sore throat, or an infected wound on your hands or arms, you should not work with food while sick, and cannot be near any food handling areas until you have been symptom-free for 24 hours. Inform the person in charge that you don't feel well. They may either send you home or assign you to different work like cashier, table bussing, stocking canned or packaged foods, non-food cleaning, or maintenance duties. Food establishments must meet the minimum standards for the sanitary design and have a layout that favors an adequate product flow. Facilities should be kept clean and organized, have well-maintained restrooms with operating hand sinks, and have signs saying that employees must wash hands before returning to work. Facilities should have segregated food preparation areas and areas with controlled access to prevent cross-contamination from outside. Smoking is prohibited inside of food establishments and must be only allowed in designated outside areas away from food production areas. Food establishments have a lot of important equipment that needs to be well maintained to avoid malfunction. Refrigerators must keep food of an internal temperature of 41 degrees Fahrenheit, and freezers must keep food frozen solid. Heat sanitizing dish machines must have water at 180 degrees Fahrenheit to sanitize dishes, pans, pots, and utensils which must reach 160 degrees Fahrenheit on their surface, and low-temperature dish machines must have proper sanitizer levels. Employees must ensure that equipment is functioning properly. In case of malfunction, the person in charge must be informed. Sanitizer buckets with towels must always be available to employees, as well as hand wash stations, so food handlers can easily wash their hands when necessary. Clean and dirty equipment and utensils should always be kept separate to avoid cross-contamination of the dirty to the clean.
국민의 안전을 넘어 안심을 추구하는 국민 행복의 시작점. 식품의약품 안전처입니다.
과거에 비해 우리의 식생활은 몰라보게 다양해지고 풍성해졌습니다. 주변에서 흔하게 볼 수 있는 외국 음식 전문점과 마트에서 손쉽게 구할 수 있는 외국 식재료들. 이제 수입식품은 우리의 식생활에서 큰 비중을 차지하게 되었습니다. 하늘로 바다로 전 세계에서 쏟아져 들어오는 수입식품의 건수와 양은 매년 가파른 증가세를 보이고 있습니다. 지난 2013년 한 해 동안의 수입식품 건수는 약 49만 4천여 건. 금액으로는 무려 216억 달러에 이릅니다. 따라서 수입식품에 대한 철저한 검사 시스템 구축에 국민의 관심이 모아지고 있는 것이 현실입니다. 이러한 분위기 속에서 식품의약품안전처는 지난 2013년 청에서 처로 승격된 후 수입 농축수산물의 안전관리까지 담당하게 되면서 명실공히 식품안전관리의 컨트롤 타워 역할을 수행하게 되었습니다. 식품의약품안전처는 국민의 건강과 안전을 위한 수입식품 검사 시스템을 강화하고 효율적인 제도 개선을 통해 수입식품으로 인해 생길 수 있는 문제를 사전에 예방할 수 있도록 최선의 노력을 기울이고 있습니다. 매일 우리가 먹는 식단에 포함되어 있는 수많은 수입식품들. 이 많은 수입식품들은 어떤 과정을 거쳐 우리 밥상에 오르게 될까요? 식품의 수입 신고에서부터 소비자의 손에 들어오기까지 빈틈없이 이루어지는 수입식품 검사 시스템을 살펴보겠습니다. 수입식품은 크게 7가지로 구분되는데 농산물, 축산물, 수산물, 가공식품, 식품 첨가물, 기구용기 포장, 건강기능식품으로 나눠집니다. 외국 식품을 수입하려는 사람은 이 구분에 따라 관련 식품위생법, 건강기능식품에 관한 법률 및 축산물위생관리법에 따라 기준 및 규격을 사전에 충분히 검토한 후 관할 지방식약청으로 수입식품 신고를 해야 합니다. 국내에 들어오는 수입식품은 서울, 부산, 경인, 대구, 광주, 대전 총 6곳의 지방식품의약품 안전청 중 한 곳에 수입 신고를 하여야 합니다. 그리고 지방식약